Hi, and welcome back to my channel. Now, if you grew up in the 90s with the Sega Genesis, the Super Nintendo, or whether it was an add-on like the Sega 32X or the Sega CD, or any of that, you had different ports of various video games. And in this video, I want to talk about those ports and which would you think that was better, okay? Now, stay tuned for the battle of the ports. First up, Tough Man Contest with Butterbean on the front. Now this is for the Sega Genesis. Now a little bit about this game, this is the Tough Man competition that was founded in 1979 in Bay City, Michigan. And a boxer promoter by the name of Art Dorr was a chance for the novice boxer to show themselves and show their skills in the rings. Now, this was brought to video games in '95. This was on the Sega Genesis and later on the 32X. Now, this is the Sega Genesis version. Now, I want y'all to check out the color palette, and I want y'all to check out, and I want y'all to see if it's a difference between the Sega Genesis version and the Sega 32X version. Now, I am playing this right now. Like I said, this is on the Genesis. As you can see, I am the one in the green that's like lit up. It's kind of like they try to copy like the Mike Tyson Punch-Out series for the NES, and this looks better graphically, but Mike Tyson Punch-Out is a classic, and I just got knocked out. Alright, now y'all see the 1-2 count, and you see the pause menu at the front of it. Now we can go back. Alright, now this is the Sega Genesis version. Now this is the same video game. This is the Tough Man Contest. Now this is on the Sega 32X version, and right off the bat I can tell they tried to do 3D with the lettering. And this is the Tough Man Contest. As you can see on the screen, it looks a little bit brighter than the Sega Genesis version to me. The boxing gloves comes up, and now you see the menu and you see the boxers. And I want you guys to tell me, is it any difference, or is it pretty much the same? Now you can see the ring girl coming out, and here we go. It kind of appears the same to me. Maybe it's a bit brighter. Let's see the pause menu. The pause menu is pretty much the same. And this is the Tough Man Contest. And like I got knocked out again. All right, this is on the Sega 32X. Now this is the infamous Mortal Kombat 2. Now we're going to look at three versions of this. We're going to look at the Sega 32X version first, the Super Nintendo version, and the Genesis. Now designers Ed Boon and John Tobias are the designers of this game. Now Mortal Kombat 2 was a fighting game originally produced by Midway for the arcades in '93, and it was later ported to a whole bunch of stuff like the Game Boy Color, Game Gear, the Omega, and all these other game systems. Well, we're gonna look at the three that was mostly played in the 90s by kids like us, like the Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, and the 32X version. Now this is on the screen right now. This is the Sega 32X version, and I want to see if it's a big difference like we looked at the previous game. And as you can see, the start menu comes up, and you can select your fighter, and I'm gonna go with Liu Kang, because that's pretty much who I deal with on Mortal Kombat 2. Liu Kang. I'm real good with Liu Kang. Alright, now let's see how this port looks. Oh, this looks pretty good. We got Liu Kang. Oh, got froze by Sub-Zero. Oh, we got froze again. Now a lot of people say the Sega Genesis version is good, and the Sega Saturn is supposed to be an arcade perfect port. In my opinion, it's not. It's kind of glunky, and it's kind of like it's pretty bad actually. I think that the Sega Genesis version is my favorite to play because it's the one that I played most growing up. All right, now this is the Sega 32X version right now on the screen. Oh, here we go. Liu Kang with the flying kick. All right. Oh, the bicycle kick. They shoot the flames. Flying kick. Let's see, can I pull off a fatality? One of my favorite fatalities of all time. Let's see. Oh, and I messed it up. Alright, now this is the Sega 32X version of Mortal Kombat 2. Now this is Mortal Kombat 2. This is the Super Nintendo version of the game. And, you know, it's got like a different like intros to it. But it is the same game, Mortal Kombat 2. This is the Super Nintendo version. Now, a lot of people like the Super Nintendo version. I don't know. We're about to see. We're about to find out right now. Let me go with a different character. Let me go with Scorpion this time. And like I said, growing up, I played the Genesis version. Right off the bat. Okay, you can pause it right here. On the Genesis version, you can't pause it. It'll just go fast if you hit start. All right, now. Okay, let's see. Well, it looks. The 32X version looks a little bit better, I think. You know, it's pretty much the same, but if you look closely, you can see it's a little bit different in details. And let's see, we got my boy Scorpion. Ooh, and Sub-Zero put it on me pretty bad. Alright, now this is the Super Nintendo version of Mortal Kombat 2. Alright, now this is the third and final version, my favorite version of Mortal Kombat 2, the Sega Genesis version. Now I'm used to this one. This is the one that I played growing up. I can pull moves off. I'm using a 3-button controller. A lot of people like the 6-button controllers, like when they play Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and stuff. I really like the 3-button controller. And, you know, this would be, you know, second to the Sega Genesis version. I mean, the Sega 32X version. You see how it speeds up when I hit start? You can stop it at the Super Nintendo version. All right, there we go. Yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. So, like, you know, you can tell right off the bat, like, the chains is hanging up in 32X version. It's like more detail. I think the chains are more in front of you, and the Super Nintendo it is too. But you know, it's whatever, because I actually like this one. Let me see, can I pull off a fatality for you guys on Mortal Kombat 2, the Genesis version? Oh, we got my boy Liu Kang up in here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm about to pull it off, man. I'm about to pull it off. I can feel it. I can feel it. Oh yeah, there we go. And it's the dragon. All right. Now, that was my favorite version. That was the Sega Genesis version. All right, you guys in the comments, y'all tell me which was the best version of Mortal Kombat 2. All right, moving on to the next game. Now this is Primal Rage. All right, now this was on the Sega Genesis and the 32X. Now this was first brought out in the arcades. All right, now this is pretty much, you know, like a Mortal Kombat Killer Instinct type game, but with dinosaurs. This came out in '94 in the arcades. Now this game takes place in a post-apocalyptic, you know, settings, you know, and players control the beast, you know, like the apes, the dinosaurs or whatever. And this was brought out, this was released by Atari Games. And like I said before, this is the Sega Genesis version. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna, let's get this started. All right, this is the startup stream. All right, now you can select your fighter right here. Now I go with the ape because I like the ape. Let's go with this one right here, chaps. And as you can see, first blood, you see the backgrounds, you see the people in the background, you see the combat. Now they did an updated version, which we're gonna see next, the 32X version. Now, like I said before, this is the Sega Genesis version. And he just passed gas on me. That's terrible. Alright, now this is Primal Rage for the Sega Genesis. Now we are back with the Sega 32X version, and in my opinion, this version is a little bit better than the Sega Genesis version. And you're gonna see, well, I don't know if you're gonna see, but I can tell off the bat. It's a little bit different and it's a little bit better. You see how that came up as arcade game? The other one, it doesn't do it. It just starts on the Sega Genesis version. Now we want the arcade game version, and right off the bat, I can tell a big difference, in the size, the fidelity, the color. On the Genesis version, they're a bit smaller, and I'm gonna go with the Blue Ape this time. Blizzard. All right. Now, I want y'all to look at the graphics in the other one and look at the graphics in this one. First Blood. Ooh. Now it's a lot different, I think it's a lot better too, in my opinion. And it's a lot, it's bigger. Like the ape and the dinosaur is a lot bigger, And this is Primal Rage for the Sega 32X.